Good morning, dear students. Welcome to biology class. You know what is biology? Biology is the study of living organisms. Biology consists of two branches, that is biobotany and biozoology. Biobotany deals with the study of plants and biozoology is the study of animals. Now we are going to learn biozoology. First lesson, the living world. A number of living organisms that exist on this earth. About 8.7 million species of organisms have been identified on this earth. A report says that 86% of all the land organisms and 91% of all the sea organisms are yet to be discovered. They occupy numerous habitats. They live from the polar ice caps to the volcanic hot springs, from the shallow lagoons to the deepest ocean, dry, parched desert, etc. They are successfully adapted to live in the diverse ecosystem. What is an ecosystem? Ecosystem is a community of biotic and abiotic factors and their relationship. What are biotic factors? They include all the living organisms from the microbes to the larger animals and plants. What are abiotic factors? They are nothing but the soil, minerals, water, air that are present in a particular environment. The interaction between the biotic factor and the abiotic factor constitute an ecosystem. So, ecosystem is a community of biotic and abiotic factor and their interrelationship. This term was first coined by A.G. Tansley in 1935. Large number of species are found in a particular ecosystem and this is called as biodiversity. Biodiversity term was coined by Walter Rosen in 1985 and it was defined by E.D. Wilson. What is the definition of biodiversity? Presence of large number of species in a particular ecosystem is called as biodiversity. Next, what are the characteristic features of living organism? Living organisms show a variety of unique characters that differ them from the non-living organism. They have the cellular organization, nutrition, respiration, metabolism, they show growth, they respond to stimuli, they show movement, homeostasis, excretion, and they adapt to the existing environment, etc. What is the need for classification? Have you been to supermarket and library? Have you seen things arranged in supermarket and the books in the library? How are they arranged? They are arranged in a well organized manner so that the customer can easily identify and get the thing what he or she wanted. What they want can be easily identified and picked from the supermarket or the library. So similarly, the living organism, the variety of living organism on this universe also must be categorized. They must be grouped based on the similarities and characteristic features of them. And this is what is called as classification or taxonomy. Classification. What is it? It is a process by which things are grouped. Taxa indicates categories at different levels. What do you mean by taxonomy? The science of classification is called taxonomy. What are the stages of taxonomy? First, we have to characterize a living organism, that is characterization. identify it, and we have to give them a name, we have to assign them a name, and we have to place them in the group, that is classify. These are the stages of taxonomy. Now we shall learn the need for classification. Classification is needed to identify and to differentiate the closely related species. How the organisms are related to each other, as well as how do they differ from one another. This is also useful to know the variation among the species. Thirdly, to understand the evolution of species. How these complex organisms are came. What is the origin? How the modern man is evolved from the early man. This can be studied with the help of the classification. Fourthly, to develop the phylogenetic tree among the different groups. So phylogenetic tree is based on the history of evolution. So what are the precursors, from which primitive organism this organism is evolved, like that we have to develop phylogenetic tree among the different groups. And finally, to conveniently study all the living organism, we need to classify the organisms. Differentiate taxonomy and systematics. What is taxonomy? We have already seen. It is a science of arrangement of the living organisms along with the classification, description, identification and naming of the organisms. All the living organisms are classified into kingdom, then phylum, class, order, etc. Similarly, the description or the features of the organisms are also given. They are identified because they have a particular character, they are identified as mammal, like that. And it is also given a name. All the organisms are given names. All these come under taxonomy. So taxonomy is a science of arrangement of the living organism along with classification, description, identification and naming of the organisms. The term taxonomy was coined by Augustine Pyramus de Candolle in 1813. Aristotle is the father of classical taxonomy. Carolus Linnaeus is the father of modern taxonomy. Now, what is systematics? The objective of the systematics is similar to the taxonomy, but the goal is to classify the organism with stipulated rules. It has the criteria such as identify, describe, naming, arrange, preserve and document about each and every living organism. It also adds up evolutionary history of the organism, environmental adaptations if any, and the interrelationship between the species are also added to the systematics. Now let us see the history of classification. How the organisms are classified in the beginning. Early classification consists of only two types. It is classified into two criteria, that is harmful organism and beneficial organism. Then ancient classification consists of five divisions, like organisms which are domestic, organisms which are wild, organisms that creep on the land, organisms that fly and sea animals. So ancient classification is based on the morphology and habitat. So how are they outwardly or the external features, and where do they live? Aristotle in 384 to 322 BC wrote a book in Latin called History of Animals. In that, he has classified the organisms into plants and animals. And these animals are again classified according to the locomotion into three categories. That is, if the organism is able to walk on land, they are considered as terrestrial animals. If they are flying, then aerial. If they swim in the water, they are considered as aquatic organism. Aristotle classified animals into two groups according to the blood. If they have the blood, then they are grouped under Enaima. and if they do not have blood, they are called as anemia. Aristotle classification was followed for 2000 years. Up to 1700 AD, Aristotle classification was followed. And there are also certain limitation in his classification. That is, frogs younger ones are called tadpole, which is having a fish mode of life. They have the gills for respiration, whereas the adult one frogs, they have lungs for respiration. And so where to keep the frogs, whether they are kept under the fishes group or in the amphibians group. And birds that cannot fly, like emu and ostrich, whether they can be grouped under birds or not. Similarly, insects and mammals that can fly, where they can be kept, whether they can be kept under the insects or mammals. So like that, there are certain limitations in his classification. So next came a person called Theocritus from 372 to 287 BC, and he is considered as the father of botany. In the 16th century, an English naturalist came whose name is John Ray. His contribution is the establishment of species, which is the ultimate unit of taxonomy. He published a book called Methodus Plantarum Nova, in which he described about 18,000 species of plant. A Swedish biologist, Carolus Linnaeus, he is the father of modern taxonomy. He is the founder of modern systematics and binomial nomenclature also. What do you mean by numerical taxonomy? Numerical taxonomy is a system that evaluates the resemblances and differences through statistical method with computer analysis. Phylogenetic classification is otherwise termed as cladistics. It is an evolutionary and the genetic relationship among the organism. The evolutionary and genetic relationship is that from the primitive to the higher, how the organisms became complex from the simpler ones. Ernest Haeckel introduced the method of representing evolutionary relationship with the evolutionary tree, that is tree diagram or cladogram. This tree clearly shows that the organisms which are having the common ancestors, and from the common ancestors how different organisms are diversified by getting derived characters. The genetic difference among the species are clearly shown by this tree diagram or the cladogram. What are subspecies? One or more derived characters which appear during the evolution results in the formation of the subspecies. Next comes the three domains. The classification has come a long way and now takes an account of even molecular level DNA and RNA identification. The advancement in the molecular techniques and biological assays had led into a new classification, and that is the three domain classification. And this was first given by Carl Woese in 1977. He classified the organism based on 16S rRNA genes. So rRNA is the ribosomal RNA genes and 16S is the Svedberg unit of ribosomes. The three domain system consists of domain archaea, domain bacteria and domain eukarya. The bacteria and archaea are prokaryotes, whereas all the eukaryotes are placed into the domain called eukarya. Archaea differ from the bacteria and eukaryotes in the membrane composition and rRNA types. Domain archaea. They include single-celled organisms, that is prokaryotes. They can live in extreme climatic conditions. Example, Thermus aquaticus. It can tolerate high temperatures. DNA polymerase enzyme was isolated from this Thermus aquaticus. The DNA polymerase which is isolated from this Thermus aquaticus is used in the PCR, that is polymerase chain reaction, for DNA amplification. You would have heard about this PCR for the COVID-19 test also. So this is the test used for identifying the COVID positive patients. These organisms use chemicals like hydrogen sulfide for the synthesis of their food. Some bacteria belonging to this group produce methane and they are termed as methanogens, and they can withstand high salty environment. The archaebacteria that can live in high salty environment are called as halophiles. The bacteria that can thrive in high temperature and acidic environment are called as thermoacidophilous. The second domain is called bacteria. So they are also prokaryotic. Their cells have no definite nucleus, they have only the circular DNA in which the chromosomes are present without histones. Histones are the types of proteins which are present in the eukaryotic chromosomes. But prokaryotic bacteria does not possess these histones. There are no organelles except the ribosomes of 70S category, and they have the cell wall which is made up of peptidoglycans. They can be classified as beneficial as well as harmful. The beneficial bacteria are called as probiotic, example for which is curd, which contains the lactobacillus species. And there are certain photosynthetic bacteria which are called as cyanobacteria. They become the food for the primitive organisms, takes up the first place in the food chain. The harmful bacteria are called as pathogens. The third domain is called eukarya. So these organisms have true nucleus, all the cellular organelles along with the ribosomes of 80S type. They have the chromosomes with histone proteins. And this domain is again classified into 5 kingdom systems. That is 1 plus 4 type. So Monera, which consists of archaea and bacteria, and the eukarya will have all the other kingdoms such as protista, fungi, plantae and animalia. Later, Cavalier Smith in 1987 revised this 5 kingdom system into 6 to 7 kingdom systems, in which the prokarya is classified as eubacteria and archaebacteria, and the eukarya is again classified into protozoa, chromista, fungi, plantae and animalia kingdoms. So there are 5 kingdoms under the eukarya and 2 kingdoms again the prokarya, and totally it comes to 7 kingdom systems.